these things. Why do I feel this way? And it's because we're not having that specialised training that help us become better skaters. And it's something that I watched in Shacklefrock and in Komodo, watching her, because she started after me and just overtook me in energy levels and that kind of strength and conditioning, because she had been doing that kind of work. So that's kind of what got me in. But it's getting to the point where I'm actively not recruiting, but trying to tell people about it, because there's so many different kind of benefits that you get from it. So for me, it's like I said before, it's a team sport, so I get to work with people from my team, not only from my league, but also from my league in Canberra Roller Derby League, but also from Varsity Derby League, and getting to know people in the community for all the different aspects. But I guess you probably get people with different needs, but also different kind of mobility issues, from people who are coming to skate for the first time, exercising for the first time, kind of working through that. So do you have anything to kind of add about how that challenges your programming?
Well, so it gets complicated if you're dealing with large classes, right? And so I guess this is my personal gripe with big fitness classes, right? And I mean, you can wave your arms around and find hundreds of them, but when you're running a big class, and I guess this is the difference between a coach and a trainer, right? So a trainer can run you through some motions and say, okay, we're going to do 10 push-ups followed by 10 burpees, and we're going to go and we're going to run for 150 metres, and all 30 of you come back and you're all huffing and puffing, and there's no ability for the trainer to be able to pay attention to what the athlete is actually doing, right? What's the athlete's actual heart rate? Can the trainer detect that without the reuse of a heart rate monitor? Can they see which energy substrate this athlete is using at which time and how long they can use it for? And so if you start to, when I look at it, I cap the classes at eight athletes, right? So that way I can spend the right amount of time with each athlete. Otherwise it just turns into another, schmozzle shopping mall type sort of, okay, let's all go and do jazzercise. It's really low yield. So with that extra time that I've got for each athlete, I can spot these things. I can go, right, well, this athlete A over here can't get their right shoulder behind their ear where they're supposed to in an overhead position. And they can't do that because the pectoral muscle is too tight. Okay, so I'll take that person out, do some mobility work with them quickly, or change the movement down, and then I can have another, while the rest of the team are busy doing what it is that they've got to do. There's a lot of tactical effort on the coach in that perspective, right? And you've seen me do it with some of the larger classes that we've had. I think the largest we've had so far, I think, was 6 or 7, and it got a little tricky because I had 2 athletes with different mobility problems. One had a bung ankle, the other one had a bung back, and I had to do some swap outs, and that's fine. Like, swap outs are normal; everybody does it. It's what you swap out to, and being able to have the time to dedicate to get that right for that particular athlete so that they can continue to work in a productive fashion, right? And still preserve the way that the team functions as well. So with the second intake, I guess having the ability to open more classes means that we can kind of still cap at that 8 level. So we want more people to come in. Absolutely.
And be able to accommodate in that kind of way. So one of the questions that I get when people ask me about the program is, what are the kind of things that you do? And I try to answer and say, well, every week is different because there's a focus leading up to and out of bout. So maybe we could talk about some of the tapering exercises that we do. So this week we had the strength part of the program.
Yep.
So what can I look forward to next week?
Well, next week, because there's some bouts coming up, we're going to move into the first half of the week is going to be a power block, and then the second half of the week is going to be a taper. So basically, we operate in one of 3 different modes, right? So when we've got enough calendar distance from a bout with the skaters that are there that day, what we do is we move into a strength block, right? So that's basically a range of workouts that focus on the strength. Right, your ability to be able to pick up things and to push things and drag things and throw them overhead. Your ability to be able to bear weight while getting up off the floor. So that's raw strength. This is force production, which is necessary when you look at it. If you're a blocker, for an example, right? Your strength is a key component there, right? Because someone is going to come up to you and they're going to push against you, right? And they're going to continue to... I'm pushing my hands against each other. This is an audio recording. But they're going to push against you rather than a direct impact, like a strike. Whereas a jammer is more likely to strike, from what I've seen on the track. So when we're getting a little closer to about day, we'll move into what's called a power block, right? Which is varied in length. Sometimes it's a full week, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's 2 weeks. It depends on what the calendars look like, and it's a little. It gets dicey with the 2 leagues, right? Because your calendar dates don't match up. It's like, so have I got VDL or CRDL skaters here? And it's like, oh dear. Okay, but anyway.
So what you're saying is open communication with your coach is really important? ?
Absolutely critical. What's the first thing I ask you lot when you come in? Right.
What's coming up?
What's coming up, and where are your injuries at? Right? They're the first 2 questions I always ask, and because I've got to know who needs what. Do I need to do extra mobility work? Can you even do the movements that I've got programmed in for today? So the program, and then if you want to talk about the power block focuses on your power production. That's your striking force, right? So how much power can you exert against an opposing force or from yourself, which improves your sprinting ability. It improves your agility. So we do some agility work during that. We do a lot of impact drills and a lot of plyometric type stuff. And then you come into a taper. The taper is where we really focus just down onto the agility, and we do a lot of mobility and stretching work, right, to make sure that the athletes can move well, that they don't have any owies that are unnecessary for when they go into a bout, and also so they're not gassed. You probably know, you would know this from yourself. After a strength block, the world sucks. And, stairs are horrible, and oh no, I've dropped something on the floor. Well, it can stay there. Yeah, I'm not picking that up.
This is my life now. I need one of those, stretchy, grabby things that I can just pick things up off the floor.
Like a zapper hand.
Yeah. But then, the next day I kind of recover, and I think this has definitely confirmed my love of the foam roller. That nothing works without the foam roller anymore, and I need to do it all the time. Otherwise, the world just sucks. So, that's pretty great. So, if anyone, another barrier obviously is cost. So, what are the Derby coming into the second intake? So, what are the kind of pricing points for Derby Strong?
Well, I'm told I'm allowed to call the second intake fresh meats.
Ooh!
So I'm like, ooh, awesome. So with this second intake, and this is our. This is like the expansion of the pilot program. So I'm doing them in intakes because there's a lot of skills that need to be taught, right? And they're not the kind of skills that you can learn in a 2-hour, we're going to do some fundamental stuff, and that takes 2 hours, and cool, you're ready to go into a full-blown workout. That's just a dead set lie. You need to learn how to squat. You need to learn how to press. You need to learn how the prescriptions work when I write them up. You need to know how to do certain mobility exercises and movements and how to stretch. You need to know what some of the utilities that we use in here. Like there's equipment here that a lot of people have just never seen before. Because of the invention of the machinery gym. And the machinery gym doesn't teach you what you learn in here.
Can you break down machinery gym for us plebiscites? Not quite sure what that means.
Effectively, it's any gym. Well, a lot of the conventional gyms, when you walk in there, they've got a range of machines that let you do things. So there's a leg press machine and a hamstring curl machine and a preacher's curl machine and all of these large forklift style devices that you strap yourself into and perform these exercises with. In here, the majority of our work is done with free weights, barbells, discs, a lot of running around, impact pads, cones. For our agility drills and things like that. Bulgarian bags and heavy medicine balls, all the way up to, I think you were playing around with a 45 kilo dead ball at one point when we were doing some Atlas stone work. I think this is a little way back.
Yeah.
If memory serves, it was either a 45 or a 55 or something like that. It was pretty cool. And that's just picking up a heavy, awkward thing, and which is still fun, you know. And so, you know, those are the kind of things that we do here. So athletes learn how to be athletic rather than just working on a muscle, right? You learn how to jump harder. You learn how to jump further, how to stop faster, how to accelerate harder, how to turn, you know. And these are the kind of skills that S&C coaches sort of bring to the mix, you know, because that's the world we come from, sports performance. But yeah, so, you know, I made a joke online and I kind of got scolded for it, but there was this new gym that was opening up in Canberra, and they're saying, and the big media release was, we have over 100 state-of-the-art machines, you know, in our gym. And I responded with, yeah, so do we, ... our members.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. I think they sort of lowbrowed me on that one.
But controversial. I think that's one of the great things about coming in here is that, you see the bar and you don't have to try and figure out how it works.
There's not a lot to it.
You pick it up and you lift it.
That's what you do.
The guesswork is in the technique. It's not how does this machine work, and it makes it less intimidating. The other thing that I like about this place is that there are no mirrors. There is no Instagramming. I mean, you can if you want to, but there's no gratuitous narcissism about this place. It's very low key. It's in a glorified shed, but it's just like you come in, you get the work done, and then you go home. So there's this saying, particularly as cross training in roller derby becomes more prevalent, that the hardest work is done at the gym when you're cross training, and then when you're on skates, that is when you apply the skill. And I think that's one of the things that I've been seeing is just I get completely flattened by some of the workouts that I do here, particularly the conditioning where you're burpees or you're throwing yourself around and you get on the ground, you get back up again. But it means when I have scrimmage on a Sunday, I'm getting knocked around and I'm not coming off the track and wanting to die because
you've been through worse.
Because I've already been through hell. Monday to Friday. Sunday is like
bring it.
I still have to work hard on the track, but I think I'm seeing those results every Sunday, and then every game that I'm going to, it's becoming better. I had someone tell me after the last game I had, and it's kind of funny that because I'm a blocker, I'm not used to being watched. And someone said, really great job on the track. I feel like that's one of your best games. And I thought, if I can have that kind of a result where someone, someone noticed me, but just, that I'm having an effect on gameplay because of the work that I'm putting in here, then it's really doing its job. And I can't recommend it enough. It's been really great.
Well, thanks, Peachy. I mean, look, I love having you here. You've got such a great aura when you march into the place. The place lights up, and it's really cool. I really enjoy training derby skaters. Says the pure-blooded weightlifter. It doesn't even cardio.
I do.
And you lot are just such a pleasure to work with. Because you've got grit, you've got guts, you're afraid but not afraid. You understand what fear is, and you know how to face it, and you know how to work with it. And a lot of you have turned it into a tangible thing that you can actually pick up and manipulate for yourselves, and use that as an empowering thing. And that's really, really cool. There's a lot of people, even high-end athletes, some of the higher-end athletes that I've worked with in some of the professional teams. They don't have that ability, They just have outright fear that they just don't know how to deal with, and you lot just never cease to impress me. Anyway, so we'll wrap up. But what's coming up for the skating scene, in terms of bouts that are coming up pretty soon? Is there anything rolling?
Oh, well, next weekend...
See what I did there? Anything rolling? Hey!
I was ready to just gloss right over that, but, just like puns.
Well, it's okay. Let me just grab the spotlight and put it on you.
Okay. Well, next weekend, the 20th of June, Canberra Roller Derby League has another home game, so I'm playing with the Brynda Belters in purple and yellow, and
Yay, Brynda Belters!
Yay! And in the red and black, the Red Belly Blackhearts, who have beaten us. Ooh, definitely last year. I'm not sure about